Hey everybody, it's Dana from Peaceful Living Mental Health Counseling. So we're going to jump into a quick video tutorial of how to do the self-care procedure for coronavirus, which is the EMDR protocol from Dr. Quinn from the EMDR Institute of Israel. So just a quick few things to go over before we jump in. When we do the bilateral, the speed is going to be fast. So we're not going to be doing a slow resourcing or medium speed. Dr. Quinn has said, do it quickly so you can do it here or on your legs. We are also going to make sure that there's two different types of negative thoughts. He calls them type 1 negative thoughts or type 2 negative thoughts. Type 1 is centered more around fear and anxiety, which in normal EMDR is like the control theme. And for type 2 negative thoughts, those are more guilt, feelings of inadequacy, more the responsibility, like I could have done something. So there is all of that information I broke down. I made a chart last night that I emailed out to everybody. If you don't have that, it's a summary of like a one page that you can use with clients about the negative thoughts, the positive thoughts, and the supportive phrases to use during the desensitization. The important thing to remember about this procedure is that it's not meant to do any reprocessing. So we're going to always be staying focused and stabilizing. We're going to restrict any processing. If at any time a client tries to go down any associated memory network, it's going to bring them back to target. So if anyone has questions about anything, please reach out to me. I am a consultant in training for EMDR, so I'm happy to help anybody that needs any support with this. I know it's a little overwhelming, but we're all in it together. So without any further ado, let's jump into the video. So first I want to introduce my husband, Eric, who is going to be my client for right now.
Hello.
Thank you for helping me do this. So ideally, you are going to either be on a virtual session, you might be on the phone, or you will have 6 feet between you and your client. So this is not ideal, but we live together, so it's okay. So we're going to jump into the script. So I'm going to read right from the script that Dr. Quinn shared with us. We don't have it all memorized yet. You don't have to either. It's totally okay to work right off of this. Since it's new, no one has to have it down pat and memorized. You can also use this if you're doing emotional support helplines, as long as it's within the scope of your practice and okay by your state regulations. This is good for a one-time stabilization for anybody who's experiencing a lot of guilt, fear, anxiety, what have you, related to COVID. So that being said, you ready to roll?
Let's do it.
Okay, so hi, my name is Dana. I'm here to help you today. What's your name?
Eric.
Eric, nice to meet you. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Can you tell me in a few sentences, what is your concern?
I'm worried about my parents passing away, contracting the coronavirus and passing away.
Yeah, and that's a very real concern. It's scary, especially for the older populations. Yeah, so I'm going to show you a little technique that's going to help with reducing some anxiety and reducing intense emotions. And you can also use this when we're not together. Would that be okay?
Sure.
Okay. So it's going to be some tapping. So I want you to find the method that works for you. So you can either hook your thumbs here, and this is called the butterfly hug. And we're going to be alternating taps left and right. Or you could do, if you don't like the butterfly hug, you could take the heels of your hands and put them on top of your knees and tap like this. So whichever feels comfortable to you.
The butterfly feels better.
Yeah, you looked more relaxed with that one. Good, okay. So that's how the tapping's going to work. So now we're going to move on to step 3, which is the assessment. This part's going to be very quick. You want to move through it fast. While thinking of your concern about your parents and their health in relation to the coronavirus, what are the negative thoughts that you have? And if it helps you, you could look at the list on the left and see if anything jumps out at you.
Probably fear and anxiety, I would say.
Yeah, it makes total sense. So fear and anxiety are all really intense emotions that we can feel. I want you to notice the thoughts. So the thoughts are the things that you think in your head. Might be starting with I this, or I that. So if you have that column on the left, that could be helpful. Or you can just notice the thought that feels most right to you, the negative belief when you think about what's happening with your parents.
Probably, that I'm not able to, protect them, guide them, control things, really get things together.
Sure, yeah. And that's not irrational right now. So that's what's different about this protocol is a lot of the fears that people are feeling, sorry, I don't mean to jump in, but it's not an irrational thought. So that's why we're working on stabilization, because the beliefs are rational right now. So Eric, so I'm hearing you say I'm not in control. That sounds about right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'm just gonna snag that back from you. So not in control is a type 1. I'm going like this, but it's really this. Type 1 negative thought. So if you do have the handout that I made, you can just look at the chart and go from there. So Eric, what I'm gonna have you do is, first I wanna get the SUD. See, hard to remember. So when you think about what's happening with your parents, that concern you have, and the fear, the anxiety, the thought of I'm not in control, 0 to 10. 10 being the highest disturbance you can imagine, and 0 being no disturbance at all. How upsetting does it feel to you?
Maybe an 8.
Okay, so I want you to notice that 8. And I want you to go into that butterfly hug and just listen to the words as I repeat them. And you can say them to yourself in your head as well. And just begin tapping. You can be in reasonable control of what you can be in control of. You can learn to deal with this. You can learn to have options within the framework that you're now living. You can learn to deal with this. You can learn to be in reasonable control of what you can be in control of. And then stop, take a breath. Good. You okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. So then just go back, tapping again. You can learn to deal with this. You can be in reasonable control of what you can be in control of. So you're going to do this for a minute each time for a total of 5 minutes. And then at the end of 5 minutes, then you're going to go in and you're going to recheck the SUD. So Eric, now we're pretending that we've done this for 5 minutes. Eric, now when you think of that upsetting thought about something happening to your parents and the thought of I'm not in control, the fear, the anxiety. Now, 0 to 10, how upsetting is it to you now?
5.
5. Okay, so notice that. Okay, so now you're at a 5. So notice how that decreased. So when it's a 4 or higher, you're gonna keep tapping and use those supportive phrases. So, Eric, I want you to go back into that butterfly hug. Notice that level 5 that you're feeling, that disturbance. And then just keep tapping. The alternating tapping is going to help reduce your anxiety, reduce your fear. You can be in control of what you can be in control of by following the health recommendations from the CDC and the government. You can learn to have options within the framework that you're living. You can be in reasonable control of what you can be in control of. And you're going to stop. Breathe, and then again, 1 minute for a total of 5 minutes. So let's pretend that that's 5 minutes has passed. All right, Eric, so now I'm gonna check in with you again. Now when you think about the concern about your parents, on a scale from 0 to 10, 10 being the highest disturbance you can imagine, and 0 being no disturbance at all, how do you feel?
2.
2, good. So when the SUD is a 3 or lower, you move right onto step 5, which is closure. We're not trying to get a SUD of a 0 because this is very real, that what we're all living in. So we're okay with the 3. So you're gonna move on to closure. So you said you're at 2?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Eric, what I want you to do is I want you to remember these thoughts that we talked about. Would it be helpful for you to write them down?
Sure.
Yeah, so would you want me to write them down for you? Do you want to write them down on your phone?
I'll write them down.
Okay, good. So just take this and have them write them down however you want. So remember these phrases. You can be in reasonable control of what you can be in control of. You can learn to deal with this. And what was that other one? You can learn to have options within the framework that you're now living. So these are going to be these positive thoughts that I want you to hold on to and remember. And you can continue with this tapping when we're not together. You can use this at any time. So if you find that your distress returns, let's say you're home and you're worried about your parents, I want you to just self-tap and use any of those supportive phrases that we talked about, such as I can learn to deal with this. How does that sound to you?
That sounds good.
Good. You can also call me if you need. But if there is a significant level of distress that's continuing, I want you to please call an EMDR therapist or another mental health professional for further assistance. And that's if you're doing a helpline. So if you're not their primary clinician, you're going to give that recommendation to contact an EMDR therapist. Is it okay if I check in with you in about a week or so to see how you're doing?
Sure.
Great. Well, I hope you're feeling better. Do you have any other questions for me?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, great. And that's basically it. It's pretty straightforward. I know the 5 minutes can feel like a little weird sometimes, but the one thing that Dr. Quinn does ask is if you do take information, he's collecting research. So in the packet that's on his website, there is a form that just has information. You probably want to leave the client's name out for confidentiality purposes. If you also do not have the little cheat sheet that I made that I sent out last night, please let me know. You can shoot me an email, dana@peacefullivingmhc.com, and I'd be happy to share that with you. Otherwise, if anyone has any other concerns, you can drop me a line, or you can set up a consultation session, whatever's going to help you. I'm here. I know this is a stressful time, so in any way we can help, we can. Eric, thank you again, my wonderful husband.
My pleasure.
Thank you for joining us in our living room. Peace out, everybody.